Push touch. Double check the steering wheel. Push roll.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Nice and smooth. Let's get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
The Tricky Triangle. It's over 2 miles long, and it's the next venue here for Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series, live here tonight from Pocono. It's the Museum of American Armor 200. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon. And Alex, this racetrack has 3 different corners, 3 different straightaways. It is a mess when you try to set a car up. Thankfully, these guys are on fixed setups, but you're going to have a different approach, and you're not going to be perfect around all 3.
No, you're really not. The big thing is always making sure when you're trying to run Pocono, setting yourself up for a good corner exit is critical here, maybe more so than any other racetrack that we're going to go to this season. This is the longest front straightaway of any racetrack we go to, and that back straightaway is no joke either. This place is massive, so if you get a bad exit off the corner, you're going to suffer your way the entire way down the front stretch here. And there's not a lot of banking to work with either, so you got to be really mindful of your brakes.
Lots of banking in turn 1, 14 degrees, but that tunnel turn in turn 2, 8 degrees of banking, and that's where you can make up a lot of time. I've seen drivers try to just roll through there, but if you aggressively brake and get to the bottom, it seems like you can make up a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time can be gained or lost there in 3, especially setting yourself up for that straightaway. Same deal going through turn 1, going in toward that tunnel turn. That back stretch gives you a nice long rundown as well. And the big thing that I don't think a lot of people realize if this is the first time you're watching Pocono is that while turns 1 and 3 are fairly wide, the line through turn 2, that tunnel turn, is really narrow. So if you see folks going side by side through there, it's going to get a little dicey, and we could see a lot of carnage up there in turn 2 today if people aren't careful going side by side through there.
Especially late in the run, these tires are going to shave off a lot of time. The fall off in practice was over 2 seconds by the end of the run, and we're only on 50% fuel here today. Taking a look at the points, though. This, interesting enough, Jeremy Burns takes the points lead, but it's only by 2 points. Carter Lenz has been fantastic. A lot of these drivers have been fantastic. And we've had a variety of different winners with Dakota Floyd, Lenz, of course. You have Grant Turner getting 2 wins, Rob Rader on the win list, Trevor Earhart adding his name in there as well. It's Tyler Harrison, who's we'll get to that later. I guess I don't want to spoil it, but looking good, but statistically, based off of what we're going to start with this race, has not had a win yet this season and hasn't had a good race in a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a down stretch here for that 45 team, and then you look toward the back half of this this points block, and it is very much still anybody's game in those last couple spots there from, say, Likens on down through Michael Bennett. I mean, that's a separation of about 20 points there, give or take, from 13th back to 19th. So, you know, anyone there right on that cut line, you need to keep bringing your A game each and every week because you do not have the room to have a bad week here, because if you do, you are definitely going to be tumbling out of that top 16 picture.
While we have an opportunity, we're going to pull the driver of the number 27 into the broadcast booth, and that's going to be the main sponsor here tonight, Kevin Orlando Jr. And while we try to dial him in, just want to make mention, we have the driver of the 27 now, but I just want to make mention, they've been sponsoring this league before, but Kevin Chaos Orlando, what can you tell us a little bit about the Museum of American Armor?
All right, we're a little bit crunched for time here, so I'm just going to keep it short. We're a museum based in Long Island, New York. What we do is we preserve history and showcase the armor mostly from World War II on the American side, but our collection's been expanding to include some European tanks and British tanks, some German tanks, and as well as some more modern examples such as Vietnam era stuff, and even later such as the M48 Patton. And one big pride of the museum is that we do our best to keep everything that we display in running order. And we often bring them out to display to the public for special events, parades, and stuff like that to keep history alive, keep people interested in it and learning, because you know, it's something that you just cannot ignore and that you don't want to forget.
Okay, but we appreciate you coming up here, and it looks like it's a long battle here, starting in 26th position. But I know you at Pocono, there's no reason you can't get up to the top 10.
Thank you. Yeah, it's struggling with the car a little bit today, but I feel like I can get something figured out as the race goes on here. You know, strategy usually comes into play a bit here, so hoping for that opportunity as we get on here.
Again, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. Kevin Orlando Jr., good luck tonight.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So there you have it, and it's time to move on to your grid. Starting on the top spot, I almost spoiled it, but I guess here we go with a 53.156. Tyler Harrison has started on the pole in several of these races. Can he seal the deal here today? He will start to the inside of Justin Ritchie, about 1/4 or 1/2 of a second off. So there's your KLD pole award. Moving on to row number 2 with Trevor Earhart. Jeremy Burns will start in the 4th position. Then you go back to Carter Lenz, Rob Rader. Going to start in row 3. Michael Call and Grant Thorpe. And rounding out your top 10, Parker Johnson, Brandon Pamitat, and the 87.
Yeah, looking back to row number 6, it'll be Caleb Gilbert and Ben Laughter there in row number 6. 13th will be Grant Turner alongside Alex Forget Berube in 14th. The 81 of Ryan Munoz rolls off 15th here tonight alongside Michael Bennett. Jeremiah Nelson and Dakota Floyd will make up row number 9 with the 12 of Justice Murphy and the 91 of Michael Reed taking up row number 10.
Man, you outran my grid there, so I'm trying to get caught up to it. Trevor Keith starting in 21st spot. Al Likens in 22nd. 23rd, going to go back to Dylan Picklesheimer. Sit-down marks in the 33. Nick Owls will start 24th. Then 25th spot for Matt Robinson. Kevin Orlando, we just talked to a moment ago. In 26th spot. 27th to Jacob Sirkovich. Brandon Richardson will start in 28th. And 29th with the final time, Joe Joya in the number 7. It'll be 80 laps here today with 5 tire sets over the wall. Pace car is going to pull off in the iRacing Fix setup here at Pocono Raceway. The Tricky Triangle is live. Chapman Cup Series and Racing Revolution. Already a good start here for the 45 as we go into the tunnel turn, though. It's a challenge from the 55. Justin Ritchie going to try to take the lead. They were fanned out 3 wide through 1.
Yeah, they were getting pretty wide. Now it's starting to condense down a little bit. Harrison clear up in the front. Here comes Burns, though, to the inside of Ritchie. He's looking for the second spot as they make their way through turn number 3.
Big run off the corner there for Ritchie, but not going to be able to do anything with it. You're going to see something similar to Indianapolis. The Dragon's Tail, the stake that we talk about, trying to break the draft. Drivers are going to move back and forth down this front straightaway. It's the longest front stretch in North America. It's actually close to 30% of this racetrack is just that front stretch.
Yeah, it makes it really pivotal to get a good run off of 3. And then also, if you're behind another car, makes it critical to grab some of that draft. You can make up a lot of time on that front straightaway because it is a very long time going full throttle down into turn 1, as we saw there just a moment ago. Looking off the back bumper here of the race leader, Tyler Harrison. Got Justin Ritchie, who is looming right behind him here, coming off of turn 3. And now here comes Burns with a decent run off of 3. He's looking to take that second spot away. Oh, big wreck coming off of turn 3.
Big crash in the back of the field. Pamitat, Reed, Munoz, and the 7 of Joya. 33's involved as well.
Looks like Robinson. Yeah, Munoz, Sirkovich. This is
That's crash.
gnarly. And this was a little further off the exit of the corner than I think I initially would have anticipated. I wonder if someone tried making a move here in that draft and it just went poorly.
Wow.
Someone caught the pit barrels there. That was how that all ricocheted back onto the racetrack.
See if I can find that. I think it might have been the 11.
We'll take one more look at it here. This is them going into turn 3. And this all unfolds right about here.
81 at Pamitat with contact.
Oh, it's
31.
up in front of them. Yeah, Nelson and Munoz go around. I don't know if Munoz is the one who slid back up the racetrack there. There might have been someone in front of them.
Michael Call had contact. He's able to save it. Phenomenal save. There it is. The
Oh,
KSX
man.
Pit Barrels.
We got 3 people into the KSX pit barrels there. Obviously, Pamitat hit the hardest, but I think Nelson glanced off of him, as did, I think that was Bennett, who was the last car in there with Pamitat. Oh, man. That's a hard hit, and boy, Joe Joy got sent for a ride after that. Well, didn't take us long for the first caution of the night, and the KSX pit barrels really made a statement here in the early going.
Again, those are pit barrels that are pretty far off the racetrack. You can see how wide that front stretch is. Now, I would predict that somebody might lock it up and slide into them on pit entry, but I didn't predict that we would have a wreck out of 3 that would send 3 cars into it.
Yeah, that was especially this early into the race, but you know, on these restarts, everyone's still kind of condensed. Makes running for real estate a little trickier. Ultimately, did not work out for about 7 or 8 cars there in the opening couple laps, and you know, it definitely a big shakeup toward the back of the field here, because there was a lot of cars involved there, and including some cars that we've traditionally seen who have that pace to work their way up toward the front. So now they're going to have a real uphill battle here, as we've probably got about 8-10 cars on pit road right now.
We're going to pull the 15 in here, and Trevor Keith, hey, I got to let you know, we just claimed 3 cars. So Sandy is actually racking them up here already.
3?
3 cars.
Oh, we got some work to do. I just updated the paint scheme yesterday.
Yeah. So we're going to add Pamitat to that list for sure. But yeah, that was a weird corner. You were kind of just around that, so tell me your take there on that.
I don't know. I couldn't see much. I went up to the top to get some clean air, and then all of a sudden I see smoke and a bunch of stuff. I slowed up, ended up hitting the wall, no damage, thankfully. And then there was no wrecked cars. I guess they all moved down to the bottom. So luckily, nothing came of that for me, except gained a few spots. And we'll take that. So I didn't see much, just a bunch of smoke.
Up 6 positions from where he started in 21st position. This racetrack, tricky in itself, but what's your confidence level like maybe in the long run?
I'm pretty confident. Got in box qualifying, but I feel like my speed is there. I definitely usually have good speed here. I feel like I really have good speed here today. Just gotta be careful, be safe, keep the nose clean, and I feel like we'll slowly move up to the front here. Gotta pick the right spots and stay out of the barrels, I guess, huh?
Yeah, stay out of the barrels. That's not a good start for tonight's race so far, but anybody you want to shout out real quick while we have you up here?
Yeah, we'll just shout out you guys at Vspeed. Can't wait to go back and watch. Hopefully it ends up with me being in an interview, and KSX Racing Graphics, and Kevin with the military scheme. I forgot the sponsor name, but those guys as well. And all the military schemes are pretty cool out there.
Trevor Keith, driver of the number 15, Rolling Thunder, putting you back. So getting lined back up, double file, Tyler Harrison still with the lead. And again, back to the statistic, it's the bigger tracks for Tyler Harrison. He does well at Michigan, does well at Auto Club. There's no reason we won't see the 45 up here for most of the day. It's the challenge of this racetrack. It turns into a fuel mileage race. No matter what cycle we are, no matter what the strategy is, it seems like every time we've came here, Alex, it turns into a fuel race at the end.
Yeah, Pocono has a very unique way of doing that. I think in part because there's so many opportunities to really roll through the corners here. So if you're really trying to save fuel, there's a lot of opportunities to really do so. But the pace car's peeling off. We're back into the restart zone. Harrison is going to lead them down the very long run here in the turn 1.
Already a good jump there. A move to the inside. Jeremy Burns going to take over the second spot on this restart. Justin Ritchie's going to lose 2 positions in just 1 straightaway.
Yeah, he's starting to go the wrong way in a hurry, going down the back straightaway as Grant Thorpe now looking to the inside of Rob Rader here for the 4th spot. Richie kind of caught in the middle. He's going to be able to stay up there for now, but Rader gets the advantage over the 77 as they'll make their way down through turn 3 once again. We'll see if everyone can go through it cleanly as we are all the way up to the wall. That's Parker Johnston who was running the fence there in turn 3.
Johnston way out of the groove, able to keep it collected off the wall. Got a decent run there on the outside of Lenz, but kind of has a car stuck in front of him. That's the 41, last week's winner, Trevor Earhart.
Yeah, and he's pairing already, the win last week with a good start to this one. Only a handful of laps in, but qualified top 10, running just outside the top 5 right now. It's been a good couple of weeks here for that 41 team.
It hasn't been a good start for some of these drivers. You had Dakota Floyd involved in that accident, as well as Matt Robinson. Damage on the front of the 57. New paint scheme on that car as well. All of these cars, we'll try to get a look at them. Look at that. Ben Lafter, beautiful Air Force machine.
Yeah, that is a very, very clean look there for the 64. As he's battling here to the inside. I think he's got Schaefer just up above him. Oh, sorry, that's Al Likens in the 13, just up above him. Here's the onboard here with Ben Lafter as he goes into turn 1. And he is knocking on the door here of the top 10, trying to find a way in.
They're on the edge of it. He's gained 1 spot. Al Likens has gained 12. Likens no stranger to gaining positions. The Hardy's 13 just in front. Lafter gonna send it into the tunnel. Gonna stay to the inside into the next corner in turn 3. Car's looking a lot racier than we've ever seen at Pocono. Seems a little bit multi-groove in certain parts of the racetrack.
More so than I would have anticipated. I think the question's going to be when these tires start going away. Because of these 8 laps, or now going on to lap 9, about half of them have been run under yellow, so they're still relatively fresh. You know, we give this thing a few laps, I think we may see them start to fall off a little bit, and the passing will start to get a good bit more difficult. But for right now, it really seems to be a pretty open racetrack, which is a pleasant surprise here at Pocono, because with the way Pocono's laid out, if you're not in that draft sometimes, you're not hitting the corner the right way, you could be in real trouble. It looks like just up ahead, Justin Ritchie losing out another spot here. Rob Rader going to go on by, and Grant Thorpe going to try to fill the gap as well just behind him.
So I want you to figure out which cars I painted on this racetrack. If you could figure that out, that'd be great.
Which cars you painted on this racetrack?
Yep. Yep. A little trivia for you.
Yeah.
Good
well,
luck.
folks at home, feel free to throw a guess in the chat as well. How many cars in the field? Just one?
I'm gonna go with 3. I believe there's 3.
Oh wow. Well, if you think you know one of the 3 cars that Bradley Cooper himself has painted on this racetrack, feel free to drop that in the chat. And when we hit like the stage break or something, we'll confirm to see if anyone's got it right.
And be honest, it could be all the terrible ones, the ones you least liked paint schemes on the racetrack. I don't know. This battle here for the top 10 though is not slowed down. Parker Johnson, we watched that way outside line into 3 the last time around, has kind of tightened it up a little bit to the bottom of the racetrack. And he has settled in now to the 9th position. Al Likens not able to chase him down. There's a little bit of a group here behind the top 10. Ben Lafter on the tail end of Likens as well, but then Caleb Gilbert about half a second away.
Yeah, starting to see this this group start to open up just a little bit. We're on board here with the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. You've seen he was shifting down in turn 1, doing so again here in turn 2. So he's pretty active on the shifter. I know that's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but usually once the tires start going even just a little bit here, it makes a lot more sense in these next gens to shift to get that car to rotate through the center of the corner. That's what Gilbert's trying to do here, is he's holding off Michael Bennett just behind him.
Instead of looking to the inside, we're looking 3 wide here. 64 a lap. They're on the bottom. Into turn 1. That was a good run. He's going to stay to the door of the 48. As they go into the tunnel, this is the preferred line for Ben. But he slides up. He tags the apron. Maybe a little door contact.
And that's the thing with turn 2. It gets pretty narrow through there. And if you're not, if you don't hit it exactly the way you want to, it can really be a momentum killer. Take a look here from the sky cam. And you see, it just gets down on the apron a little bit, washes up the track a touch. Looks like he's able to keep it off of the 48, but loses that momentum that he had, falls behind Johnson once again, and now that's where he sits going back into turn 1.
Stuck in 11th position. Leading every lap so far, Tyler Harrison. We'll get a look at this machine. C2C Transport, number 45. Looking pretty good. Jeremy Burns keeping him honest.
Yeah, and if Burns is going to make a move, now's probably about the time. Early stage here tonight due to the limited amount of laps. Stage coming out of lap 15. So in just a couple of laps here is when they're going to call for that stage yellow. So Harrison's got the advantage right now by about a car length and a half. And he's going to have some work to do over the next couple laps here if he's going to try to pick up the stage victory from the pole.
So 2 to go. Pocono Mountain's a beautiful place to be. If you haven't, you should. Not really racing that comes to mind, and this facility is huge. I mean, we got to look at it earlier, but look how massive it is out here on this plateau. It's just crazy to think that there's an area out here that's not rocky and mountainous. They really did a great job picking a location for this place.
Yeah, and it's it's got a real nice charm to it because it is really just in the middle of the Pocono Mountains. So you it's almost impressive how much this place sneaks up on you if you're not paying attention, given how big it is. But it's tucked away fairly well. But a fantastic facility to go watch a race at, as we are here now on the final lap of the opening stage. Harrison had to hold off a bit of a run there from Burns going down the front straightaway. And Burns got some company from Raider here off of 1.
Dirty air there into 1. I think that might help Tyler maintain this lead, get this stage win. It's looking like it.
Yeah, he's in good shape here. Just needs a good run through 2 and 3. Will Burns is right on the tire tracks, though, as they make their way into the last corner here. Coming to this end of the stage, the 9 going to look to the outside, and that honestly very pretty Blue Angel. Does he have a run here off of 3? Harrison trying to weave.
And he's got it. Tyler Harrison going to lock up the stage. And everybody has crossed the line. Stage complete here at Pocono. Tyler Harrison from the pole, gonna lock it up. He led the first 15.
Tell you what, the pressure was really coming there late in the run. Harrison, though, took care of business in that opening stage. 45 to 9, 53, they all look pretty quick here, at least through the opening couple laps. This could be shaping up for a really interesting run here, especially if we get a green flag pit cycle with how well those guys are all running against each other.
Harrison, Burns, Raider, the top 3. Thorpe, Call, the top 5. Richie, Earhart, Lenz, Likens, and Laughter does get to the top 10. Running back around to catch up to the iRacing pace car. So this puts us in an interesting spot because 50% fuel, this big over 2 mile oval, we call it an oval, the triangle. It's going to be unique for fuel. And I don't really have exact numbers here, but I want to say it's anywhere from 24 to 28 laps that you could run here. We just saw it on Sunday. Christopher Bell, 1 lap short on fuel, had a chance. Had a chance for a top 5 and been running, you know, outside the top 10 all day. It's so easy as a driver to get focused on, well, I can go up here and win the race, but sometimes you just got to take that win that maybe isn't a victory, but it is a game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% right, especially at a place like Pocono where you have the ability to try to make that work. Just as a note, though, I think the fuel tanks are a little thinner than we may have first indicated. I'm thinking it's about 20 laps is the max here, which is going to really kind of chunk this thing up pretty evenly. But also because of that, if this thing were to say go green after this to the end, like there could be some folks dangerously low on fuel coming to the end of this thing. They would have to really kind of stretch this thing out the whole way on each stint, and that could get really fascinating and also really concerning for some of these drivers if they're not saving their stuff, because I think 20 is the max. I think about 18 or so is more the when you're actually going for it.
Everybody down pit road, the exception of Joe Joya. 45 going to find the very first pit stall. Here we go. Right sides go up. Going to assume 4 tires for everyone on this stop. Well, I was wrong. In the race off pit road, Burns is going to win it.
Yeah, you can see the difference there was the time in the box. 11 seconds for Harrison, 9.9 for that 9-2 Jeremy Burns, and that was just enough to get Jeremy out ahead of Tyler Harrison. So we will have a new leader here at Pocono, and this thing cycles back around. And being the control car on this restart, I think is going to be a huge boost to the 9, who looked like he had some speed, but just couldn't quite generate the run he needed to clear Harrison in that opening stage.
Don't go anywhere. More coverage will continue. From Pocono, you are watching the Museum of American Armor 200. More coverage of the Chapman Cup Series with Racing Revolution right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game. JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Welcome back here for stage number 2 at Pocono. New command car for this restart. The 9 of Jeremy Burns is going to take him into turn 1. But the stage 1 winner on the inside, Tyler Harrison. And he's already lost 2 spots as we go into turn 1.
Yeah, it'll be Burns who's working that outside. And then we're about to get maybe 3 wide for second. I think that's Earhart trying to work the top here just ahead of Rob Rader. Rader and Harrison battling for third. The 53 will take that for now. The last week's winner on the move. He's up to second and closing on the race lead.
Got some 3 wide going on back here. Car to the inside. That's the 5 of Michael Cole. Got a really good run out of the tunnel. Wasn't expecting that. Out of turn 2. Gonna gain 1 position. Car's in the wall in the front.
I don't think it was just the front. I think a lot of people followed the leaders up the hill. I think that might have been Earhart who had clipped it first, and he was the first of about 3 or 4 puffs of smoke I thought I saw pop up there from the outside of the turn 3 wall. Meanwhile, here to the inside, Call trying to get to the inside of Richie. He's trying to clear Ben Laughter as well. Laughter back to the inside now as Grant Thorpe going to apply some pressure from behind.
On board with the 5. Michael Call. Looking pretty locked in so far. Call has gained double digits here to get back up. Remember, the 5 was involved in that first incident. He was deep in the field.
Yeah, he was pretty far back there, I think, but in a good spot here. The 5's had a lot of speed so far this season, and at times he's been able to finish out some of those runs, but he's also had some bad luck. I think that's cost him a handful of points here.
I'm looking at this camera right now, and it's cropped the top of his head off. It's frozen.
Okay, I was wondering what was going on. It was confusing me a little bit.
A golf cap initially, and then when I got it on Zoom, yeah. So now we know.
Now we know indeed. That was mildly disorienting.
Think of how
because I was wondering, I was like, wow, he's really static, right? He's like really still. Like, couldn't even see him working the wheel, and I
just locked in.
Might have been why. Yeah. There's a lot of business to take care of on the racetrack right now, running 6th and right on the back bumper of Richie. He might be thinking about a move here in the 1.
Again, we talked about it there briefly in the commercial break, but how many different grooves into turn 1. We just saw it there. Call gets to the outside of Richie, ends up picking up a spot. Usually when we see a car that high up the racetrack, we thought, well, they missed their mark. They didn't break into the corner in time. But here today, Pocono has treated us to probably 3 different grooves into turn 1 alone.
Which is shocking because typically when you get that high up in turn 1 at Pocono, that just means you're hitting the wall. And so far, that has not been the case for anyone that we've seen, at least in turn 1. It's Grant Thorpe a little over-under now to the inside of Justin Ritchie down the front straightaway. Trying to side draft him, hold tight to him so he doesn't lose out by not being in that draft. And Wills is really diving in toward the apron here as the 55 up higher on the racetrack, and Grant Thorpe going to go on by. He's back up to the 6th spot.
Richie down 5. Tight battle back here with Parker Johnston, Caleb Gilbert, Dylan Picklesheimer, 12th through 14th position. Plenty of opportunities in this early run, Alex, to gain some spots, but you have to be careful. We saw it earlier. Al Likens gained a lot. He's at 14 spots. And In that first stage, it's probably okay. You know you're going to come back down pit road, get some tires, some full tank of fuel. But now you got to approach this race in a long run mentality.
Yeah. And, you know, if you burn up your stuff too early here, you know, there might be a caution that bails you out, but that's not a guarantee. And you might have to just run through it. And you were saying we were seeing fall off of over 1.5 seconds, close to 2 seconds, just in practice here, and we're running a shortened run. And yet we're still seeing that much fall off. So, like, if we're running this, still this tight of a pack, and you start seeing that kind of fall off, you could be in some real trouble. You see, this is the race leader, Jeremy Burns. That's a driver who is not in any sort of trouble right now. 8/10 clear of Trevor Earhart. Is the 41 going to get a little bit of that draft, going to try to reel him back in here. You'll see that deficit continue to chop its way down, just being on the tail end of the draft, made up about 0.2 seconds there going into turn 1. But right now, there's a lot of distance still to cover for that 41 team.
That's the confidence that you get after you win a race. And Earhart showing that now. Variety of different drivers have had that confidence come and go. And your 5-time champion, Rob Rader, running calmly in 3rd spot, just behind this. Tyler Harrison, your stage 1 winner in the top 5. Michael Call on the move. Grant Thorpe, Justin Ritchie, Al Likens, Carter Lenz, and Ben Lapter holding on to this top 10. But 10th position, that's the place that's been the hornet's nest all day.
Yeah, it really has been. That's where things start getting a little dicier. We've seen a lot of cars trading those positions around. As we watch here, this continues to be a hotbed of activity right now. Carter Lenz, Ben Laughter, Justice Murphy, 9th, 10th, 11th. Battling on the racetrack just behind Ritchie and Likens here is the 13 going to try to hold on to this spot. He's actually maybe going to get to the outside of Ritchie here and complete that pass on the outside. So jump on board with Carter Lenz in that 66 machine. Started off this season really, really hot, but it's been a quieter past couple of weeks. He's trying to get back to some of that early momentum that he had to kick off this season.
Lenz has looked good, but has looked better. That's, I guess, how we would put it. He's had solid races, but not used to running, 10th, 9th position like he is right now. Just tag the wall coming out of 3. We're used to seeing the 66 go up there and compete for the win. And lately, it's been competing for a top 5.
Which, in the grand scheme of things for points, there is nothing wrong with that, but it does raise a couple of interesting questions about what's changed between the start of the season and now. Because the 66 was the dominant car all the way, I would say, probably until May. Yeah. In the past few weeks here, I think is where things have started to pivot a little bit. So he currently runs in this 9th spot, looking for more as he's closing in on Justin Ritchie, who continues not at a super rapid pace, but is very steadily descending his way down the timing tower here. Qualified up, I think, front row or second row, and has worked his way now back to 8th, and is just trying to hold on to a top 10 run as things sit.
Yeah, Ritchie started just outside the pole. He's falling back to 8th spot. Looks like the car's settling out a little bit here for the 55. Justice Murphy on the move. Up 9 spots, so another big mover in this race.
He's had a bit of a quiet run. First time we've really had a chance to talk about the 12, but he's cut where he's been running about half here, going up 9 spots now into the top 10, and is glued to the back bumper right now of that 66 as they work off a 2. Oh, bit of contact off the wall. He's going to try to keep it rolling, but Ben Laughter now right back on his tailpipe after Murphy hit the wall there off a 2.
This track doesn't get any wider, Alex, and these guys are going to keep moving that safer barrier every single lap. Eventually, it creeps up on you and causes damage. I don't see any cars up here in the top 10 that have any right front damage yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, the key word is yet, especially, I think, because we've seen cars be able to run multiple lines in turns 1 and turns 3 so far today. I think that actually could work to their detriment if they're not careful. They're going to get a little bold, a little overzealous, knowing that, at the start of the run, I was able to run this car out here The moment the tires start going away, though, typically these setups start getting really tight. It has a tough time getting this car to rotate to the center of the corner sometimes, and you could be drifting up to that wall in a hurry if you're not careful. Because for as long as turn 3 is, that exit does jump up on you. As you see, it actually just grabbed, I think, Carter Lynn's there for a split second. And now here comes Ben Laughter with a great run off the corner. He's to the inside of Murphy. He's fighting against the draft, though. Can he clear both Murphy and Lynn's? He might go 2 for 1.
They get a big run into turn 1. All the way down on the bottom. Is going to slide up in front. Not able to complete that pass. So go back side by side with the 66.
How brave is he going to be here in the 2? Looks like he's going to find a place to slot that car in. So now settling into the 10th spot once again is Ben Laughter, who we've seen him battling for this top 10 spot kind of any time we've checked in on him here. Started 12th and has been hovering anywhere from about 9th to 12th since the drop of the green flag here tonight.
Well, 66 just got tight again, so it's going to be another run into turn 1. Can he complete it this time?
I was watching Al Likens up ahead of him, got super wide, but same with Carter Lynn. So now Ben Laughter up to the 9th spot. Lynn's going to close in a little bit with that draft, but not really anywhere to take that as they make their way to turn 2. So 64 now settles into that 9th spot and has just a little bit of clean racetrack in front of him to try to make some headway toward Likens and Ritchie just up ahead. As Alex Forget gets way to the inside just behind him. That was a battle, I believe, of Parker Johnson in the 19, going to take that spot away.
Sure, if Johnston made a mistake here out of the tunnel. It looks like he did. Brushed the wall pretty hard. 19 had to make a basic maneuver to not get into the back of the 48. Gain that position. Johnston falls back 1 spot. You see through 3-8. It doesn't look like the 48 loses. There it is. But we get to do it again. 48 just made a mistake there in the tunnel. Can he hold off the 14?
That's the question. How ambitious does Bennett want to be? Here they go. Through turn 2. Looks like 48's got it for now. Bennett, though, right to the back bumper. He's glued to him. One thing to keep an eye on as well is that Rob Rader has cleared Trevor Earhart, and he was 4/10ths faster than Jeremy Burns that last lap on the racetrack. That is, now it's only 1/10, but those cars are starting to close back into each other and consequently start to reel in Jeremy Burns as well. As now the top 5
as well.
Yeah, and Harrison now maybe looking for 3rd. Is Michael Call right up there as well? This is getting interesting here as this pack of cars are not only battling each other but trying to make some headway back toward the leader. Back into turn 3 we go once again. That is Harrison that we're watching in the 4th spot. Michael Call thought about going a little bit wider there, trying to maybe get a little clean air on the nose of that race car. Diamond off the corner, gets a bit of a run here. Coming off of turn 3, he's right to the back bumper of Harrison. Does he step out here in 1 to try to make a move? Maybe going to look to the outside. That is going to be a tall order on some of these tires that are now starting to burn up a little bit. Did not quite get the run he was looking for. However, Rader got the run he was looking for on Earhart for a second, just for a moment. Not going to be able to complete that pass, but stepped out and thought about it.
Trevor Keith on the move. So we get deep into this run. We're about 3 or 4 laps shy off the fuel numbers here to come down pit road, but the 15 is starting to come to life. Looking for 13th position. 12 into the wall coming out of the tunnel. So Murphy gonna fall back a position. These cars heavy on the brakes into 3.
Here comes Trevor Keith. We're on board with the 15 as he is running up to the back bumper of Justice Murphy and just hunts him here into turn one, trying to give him a bit of head of steam. So he's now back to the inside of Forget just in front of us. Trevor Keith started 21st, he's up to 14th, starting to make some forward progress.
It's easy math. That's football math. 7 spots gained. I don't even have to look. And some of these drivers that had a tough break at the start of this race, this is one of them right here. It's Dylan Picklesheimer in the 33, and we do have an onboard with him. We'll get a look at him. Just not a good day so far to start this thing out. Needs another caution to get some of that right front damage repaired. We got to look at it there. We'll try to get a better look at it. You can see that right front is hindering this car. Last time by, it's almost a full second off of the leader.
Yeah, just trying to nurse this thing around right now. He is running 20th, but we know that he could probably have some more speed if some of that damage was repaired, and he might not have a chance to really deal with that too much. Unless there is a yellow, which so far that's not the direction it's trending. Is a little acknowledgement to the camera there from Dylan. So best of luck the rest of the way there to the driver of the 33 if he's following on board with the broadcast.
So pit stops commence. Here we go down pit road. The 9 leading in with Earhart. Lee Thorpe stays out. Alex Forget going to do another lap. But this is right at the window of 19 to 20 laps. A whole bunch of cars down pit road.
Yeah, this was about the end of that run, and so many cars just came down pit road. Huge moment here. Everyone diving down into their box. One car already down in the way. I don't know if he actually stopped or just missed their pit box.
Parker Johnson, I believe. No, take that back. 53 down and away. Beats the 9 out of pit road.
Yeah, very fast stop. 4-tire stop for Burns. I think only a 2-tire for Earhart and Rader. Michael Call with a quick stop as well. Definitely going to shuffle up the running order a bit here. So now we take a look here. This is Grant Thorpe, who stayed out an extra lap, which could really come to benefit him if he's able to run 1 lap longer each of these stints. Might just be able to make it to the end.
With a 77, 19, 24 down to pit lane. Missed the box there for the 77, just slightly over the line.
And that's a killer. It's only going to be a couple of seconds, but a couple of seconds is all that was needed to really jeopardize the advantages he was going to gain there from running the lap longer.
I don't have to say it.
No, you don't. Only one car left on the racetrack yet to come down pit road. It is this man right here. 39 of Grant Turner. Doing Grant Turner things, as it were.
On the clutch pedal, you can hear it here into 3. Coasting as far into the corner as possible. And coasting down pit road as well. Gonna stay locked in. There's the chance. He's gonna take it.
Similar to what we were just saying about Grant Thorpe. You know, if you're able to do that every stint, if this stays green, could work yourself into a spot that other drivers simply are not going to be able to match.
Oh. I almost had a full chug jug right there from Turner. He was pounding it down. I was a little jealous.
Gotta stay hydrated out here.
I don't think he actually set that can back down. It is tipped over. Grant, check it. I think it's spilling right now. He doesn't care.
He's locked in. He's got work to do here on the outlap.
All right, we're good. We're good. One hand
He's
in
just
it down
yeah
the long
down the
straight.
backstretch. Talk to me about a guy who is not stressed with how this race is going. He is really comfortable with how this is running right now.
He knows something. He has to. He's already on the clutch pedal.
And that's the thing, because he's been able to run a couple stints longer than the rest of the field here, assuming he's not bleeding off too much speed, you know, these laps are going to start stacking. And he could be in position here to do something pretty spectacular, depending on how these last couple runs go. But Rob Rader was the fastest car off pit road, one of the 3 cars who I believe took 2 tires that last stop alongside Colin Earhart. So the 53 now out front for the first time here today, and Clean Air doing wonders for the Chapman car.
And Matt Robinson going to try to come back out on the racetrack, I believe. The 11 car getting that damage repaired. 4 laps down now. Remember, involved in that lap 3 incident to start this race off. The 11 has been trapped on pit road for a long time. Going to try to come back out here. Dakota Floyd has called it quits in the 57. Ryan Munoz, Brandon Pimitat, Michael Reed with an early exit. You have the 31 of Nelson involved in that. The 33 of Picklesheimer. So many cars involved. It was probably, 8 or 9 cars that got damaged from that car.
Yeah, it was a lot of cars, by anywhere from about 8 to 10 or so in the opening couple laps. About lap 3 that opening caution came out, but since then we've only had the stage yellow come out. We're over the halfway point here tonight from Pocono. We're watching this battle here for the 8th and 9th spot. Justice Murphy currently holding that 8th spot, but he's got Bennett and Trevor Keith just behind him on board here. This is the back bumper of the Bennett machine. Is TK going to get right up there and give him a little shove down this front straightaway?
I love that Vspeed logo on the hood. Going to give it an extra shove. I think if you have a V on the front end, it adds 5 horsepower. That's where you saw right there. The gain on that straightaway had to be the Vspeed red.
Gotta be. You know, it's, shameless plug, but also it seems to be working for him as he's up from 21st, now up to 10th. Is now Bennett with a big move to the inside here, going to try to clear Justice Murphy, and he will. Michael Bennett now up to the 8th spot. A nice power move there through the tunnel turn.
It's not over yet, though, for the drivers behind him. Car way up to the outside. That was Alex Forget in the 19. A single file out. Still a hornet's nest for the top 10.
Yeah, there's Likens now in 10th, looking for more as he's working to the inside of Justice Murphy. Justin Ritchie, Ben Laughter right there as well. Tell you what, if there's one person we've been able to set a watch to tonight, it's Ben Laughter, being anywhere from 9th to 12th. Currently sitting in that spot as he is looking to the inside of Justin Ritchie here into the tunnel turn.
We got Ritchie, almost got the 15 of Keith as well. He's still got the momentum.
Yeah, looking to the inside here in 3. Going to try to make something happen down the front straightaway if he gets a good run in the draft. However, I think in his case, Trevor Keith got a better one because he is plastered to the back bumper of Justice Murphy's number 12 right now in the turn 1. Go and give him a little push down into the corner as well. Trevor Keith has been probably the biggest part of the strategy that we've seen tonight. Instead of trying to make a pass down that front straightaway, just shoving the car you want to pass in the turn 1 and going from there. Because the draft is very powerful down this front straightaway. Very tough to fight against it. So I think his plan has just been not compromise the speed and just keep, pounding the guy in front of you until hopefully he moves out of the way.
Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Murphy's on the clutch pedal. He's been drafted the 15. They've been working well together. I think this is part of the strategy, Alex, is make it as far as you can, make it one more stop.
And I'll tell you what, that is the plan. I think a lot of people are realizing that might be the case here after they saw Grant Thorpe and Grant Turner try to stretch this thing a little bit further. And because neither of them pit on the same lap as everybody else, but they also didn't pit on the same lap as each other, we've kind of got three different strategies working simultaneously here. Is now Caleb Gilbert going to lose out to Al Likens as the 13 surges on ahead. Same with Bennett just behind him.
An hour in, coming up on our final pit stop. 8 laps into the stint for a lot of these cars. Based off the math, one of these cars is going to be a lap short. I told you it was going to come down to fuel strategy, and without a caution, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, it really does seem like that's going to be the case here. Wouldn't be Pocono if we didn't have a little bit of fuel strategy to throw in there. And also, I don't think would be this season of Racing Rev if we didn't have a little fuel strategy thrown in there. There has been a lot of times this year where fuel strategy has been the name of the game. And while a couple different folks have come out victorious, ultimately, I think Grant Turner has been the one who has definitely benefited the most from that and is the one who's most aggressively trying to run a long strategy here. We'll take a look here at the replay.
I was trying to dial it up. Let me see if I can try it one more time. There's a pass here in the second position. See if I can get the best angle at it here. The dive into turn 1. And then, you know, the 9 is on the move. We go back to the live shot. He's taking the lead now.
Four-tire call from Jeremy Burns, able to rally on back, takes away the lead from the 53. Tell you what, that Blue Angels machine has just looked dialed in really since the end of the opening stage. The moment he got clean air on that race car, it came to life. Now on the 4 tires, doing more of that as things continue to battle here from 5th on back. You got Linz, you got Richardson in here. Not all these cars on the lead lap, but they are all battling on the racetrack right now. Linz and Bennett, that is a battle for position for 6th.
Linz in 5th position, or Likens rather, in 5th position, has ran up the gain 17 spots. Biggest mover of the race so far. Phenomenal drive.
Phenomenal drive indeed. And tell you what, this has not been a pit strategy situation for the 13. He had driven his way into the top 10 in the opening half of this race before that, and now has just driven his way right back up there again. That Hardy's machine's got some good power under the hood. Unfortunately for him, he's got a long way to go if he's going to reach Michael Call up there in 4th.
Yeah, it's 3.6 seconds. The spacing continues to grow. We're still on strategy with a few of these cars stretching the run as far as they could. Remember, clutch pedal for Justice Murphy in the 12th. Working with Trevor Keith. Trying not to get beat by the strategy. A guy that has worked it to a T at multiple racetracks. First one that comes to mind is Dover. What a surprise there. We usually don't see fuel strategy at the Monster Mile. Grant Turner finding his way to victory lane there. And how many times have we talked about fuel and tires and just everything in Racing Rev comes down to 1 or 2 bad choices.
And that's the thing, is that at the time, some of those decisions don't even feel like bad choices. They feel like the more natural move. However, it's been the unnatural move of committing very early on in a run that you're going to really try to stretch something out and just trusting that it goes green. And a couple times that has worked. You know, we've had a few late cautions that have ruined some of those long-term fuel plans, but we have seen it work more often this season, I think, than a lot of people have been prepared for. And it's led to some very fascinating ends of these races when you have cars going drastically different speeds because they're all in very different situations fuel-wise.
Caleb Gilbert going to pick up a spot, gets around Ben Lapter. Actually got to the inside, is not going to gain that position. 9th spot for the 54. Parker Johnson, Kevin Orlando mixing it up. Kevin Orlando down pit road. This is a lot earlier than I would have predicted here, Alex.
Yeah, with this happening on lap 51, I'm a little surprised. Probably a very early commitment, putting fresh tires on this thing. Pit again probably around lap 65 or so, and that way you can just run full out both stints and not worry about it. But yeah, this is a little earlier than I would have anticipated. But I guess, you know, if you know that you can't make it in one stop, committing to optimizing the 2 stints you have left is probably the move. And that's probably the decision there from the 27.
Nobody else down pit road for the time being. Caleb Gilbert falls back to 13th. Maybe a mistake here for the 54. He's running up in the top 10. I'm not sure what happened to Caleb Gilbert. He was running a 9th just a moment ago. If I can dial this in.
And down several spots. Not sure if it was one bad corner or what, but this certainly doesn't look optimal here, being stuck on the inside. And lost some speed there for sure through the tunnel turn. Could not get a full exit. Justin Ritchie going to capitalize on that, and then Alex Forget able to do so moments later.
Maybe in fuel conservation mode.
Might be the case. I mean, there is quite a few people out here who are in some form of fuel conservation. And it has led to a lot of movers and shakers throughout the field here. But it's a little too early to tell still, I think, how this is going to play out, because we still have another round of pit stops that have to happen. And for those folks who pit around lap 38, that was when that big wave came down pit road. If they run another 18 laps like they did the previous time, would take them to about lap 56. If they're really trying to stretch it another 2-3 laps, you get the 58 or 59 of that opening group. So we'll see who's going to be the first to blink here in this lead pack. I would expect in a couple laps here we'll have to see him come down pit road.
Burns still the fastest car in the top 10, 53.7. Earhart the second fastest with a 54.3. That's half a second gained by Burns. He's faster the last time by than Rob Rader, but Rader getting a 10th of it back. It went back and forth quite a few laps. Looking at this top 10, Alex Forget, it is spread out a lot. Again, the strategy coming into play at Pocono. 25 laps in just a moment's time. In this battle, the 5 of Michael Call, the 64 of Ben Lafter to the outside. Again, Ben Lafter has been phenomenal today.
Yeah, he continues to chip away at this thing. He's now up to 6. That's about as high as we've seen him run. And he continues to work his way forward because he's not all that far back from Michael Bennett. Good little battle going on here throughout the rest of the top 10 as well. Murphy, Forget, Call starting to slip the wrong way here a little bit. He was part of that opening group who I think only took 2 tires, so he must be really trying to save some fuel here. Otherwise, he may have had an issue somewhere that we didn't initially catch.
Early on to the clutch pedal. You saw it there on the bottom left of your screen. Watch the RPMs into 3.
Wow, that thing is way down on RPMs before he finally gets back into the throttle here. He's letting that thing sit all the way down in the bottom of 4th gear, though. If that reading was accurate, man, that thing was down just north of 2K.
Yeah, full clutch. Probably 200 or 300 feet before anybody would drive into the corner on power. 12 made a mistake out of turn 3. So the 19 had to go by. You don't want to lose too much time. That's the other part of this. There's an art to it. You want to take and gain what you can. You don't want to give up too much time. Saving is one thing, but if you give up 3 or 4 tenths a lap to a car in front of you, it doesn't matter. You could end up outside of the top 10 after pit stops because you waited on the racetrack.
Yeah, and it becomes a really fine line of knowing when the time is to come down pit road, as we do have a couple takers now. A few folks coming down pit road. Looks like Jeremy Burns is amongst them.
Burns misses the stall just a touch.
Yeah, it's going to cost him about a second or so. Could be pivotal. And also with this being at lap 57, I don't see a way where he can make this in one stop. I think he'd have to stop again, pitting here.
Also took 2 tires, so that's less fuel that's going to go into the car.
Now, if you know you're coming down again, yeah, I'll say if you know you're coming down again, I suppose it's not the worst idea to go a little later on the fuel. But man, this is going to get interesting. We'll see who has enough to save. My eyes keep darting back to that 77 if he's able to stretch it the full distance, because he's still running a good bit of pace here, sitting in that 7th spot now, working up to 6 as people keep hitting. But he ran an extra lap than everyone the previous stint. Is he going to be able to do that again is the question.
Based off that clutch pedal, I see no reason why he couldn't. And lapped her down pit road now in the 64.
And a lot of cars stopping here. Michael Call amongst them. Trevor Earhart, 4 tires and fuel for the 41. Same with Richardson. And now Rob Rader down pit road here on lap 58, working to lap 59. That is...
It's a lap shy.
It's a lap shy. I just don't think that he could make it from here. He might, but I'd be floored if he did. I'll put it that way. He would have to sacrifice a lot of speed in order to make it.
Jeremiah Nelson pinned on pit road for 820 seconds now. Alex Forget Berube still out of the racetrack. This is right around that mark. If you're going to make it, Forget could be one of the cars that surprises us in the 19.
Yeah, he's trying to stretch this thing a little bit further. Same with the 77. One of about 5 cars, I believe, who have not come down pit road yet. Now the 19 going to do so here. And now this is the first car, I think, who has pit late enough that theoretically they could make it. But very notably, Grant Thorpe out on the racetrack for another lap. Now this is where everyone's fanning out. Feels like an old school Indy 500 a little bit, with everyone having their own fuel number that they're trying to hit. The 77 though, man, my eyes keep looking at him as he might be the one to keep an eye on. He's got a lot of pace. He's running a good bit faster than, say, Grant Turner back there in second right now. But he is doing enough, I think, to save fuel to stretch this thing out where he could make it to the end. Question is he going to have enough speed to get ahead of Forget? Because Forget did a great job fuel saving that stint and might be able to make it now as well.
And I want to apologize to the viewers here watching. We do not have a Red Bull burn bar. I wish we did. That would be incredible right now.
It would be incredibly helpful. Unfortunately, not in our wheelhouse, but that just means we get to speculate on the fuel numbers the old-fashioned way. And this, for Grant Thorpe, would be a really good place to be. So it looks like Grant Turner going to come down pit road here as well. They both can make it to the end from this point and will not have to be in full save. Not to say they can be aggressive on their fuel burn, but they don't have to be spending the entire time clutching every last drop out of it. And now with it being a 19-lap run, I think they'll be able to make it to the end here. Jeremy Burns has re-inherited the lead by 6 seconds over Rob Rader. He's in a really good spot positionally on the racetrack, but because he can't make it on fuel, he's trying to open up this lead, I think, as much as possible to give himself as much of a chance at a good points day after he has to come down pit road one more time.
Yeah, based off these numbers, it's looking like the 9 car will have to come down one more to finish this race out. When do you make that call, Alex? When do you gamble that it's the right time? I'm thinking somewhere around 65. So you have a little bit of laps to come back on these guys. But at the same time, you could pit early and a caution would come out and it would bail you out. That's all we need is one yellow and it changes everything.
Yeah. Now, I think if you're Jeremy Burns, the big thing to your point is giving the new tires time to kick in So he came down pit road around lap 57 or so. I would think he might run about 10 laps on these, full sprint, really cook them to maximize what he can get in about 10 laps or so, come down pit road, do the same thing again over the next few laps, and just, you know, run every lap from here to the end full out and see how much time we're going to be able to make up. Tell you what, we've got a fun little battle for second going on right now. Al Likens taking it to Rob Rader here going into turn 3. That 13 going to go on by. And I think that's because Likens is on the same strategy as Burns here. Rader might be trying to stretch a little bit of fuel here to try to make it to the end. He pit last at lap 59.
Likens going to be up to second spot. Again, biggest mover, 20 positions gained now for the 13. I'm leaning on the side. If you look at the left-hand side, last pit lap, anybody with a 9 at the end there or a 6 at the beginning has a real shot at winning this race. Alex Forget, I think, is in a prime spot. Murphy is in that mix. Richie. You put Gilbert in there as well. Thorpe is in probably the best position. And then you could go with the 39 of Turner. But I think Forget, if he can make it last, he's got this.
That's the thing, is that I didn't think the 19 was going to be able to stretch it as long as he did that middle stint. But he has, and if he's able to do that again without sacrificing time back to anyone who's got more fuel than him, that first car, of course, being the 77 Grand Thorpe, he might have a real chance at pulling a rabbit out of the hat here. He hasn't had bad pace today. He's been about a top 10, top 15 car whenever we've checked in on him. But he's put himself in a really good spot, running 6th here, working his way to the end of this race, and he can run a good bit faster than those cars in front of him who are trying to save fuel, because I think while he'll have to save a bit of fuel, will not be nearly as much save as the rest of these guys.
And like Trevor Earhart just ahead of him. Earhart's really got to save. 2-lap difference on fuel, and doesn't sound like the 41's saving at all. Listen in.
There's a big test here. We'll be going through turn 1, seeing how much he's deciding to try to burn. That's a big question. Will he downshift here? Yeah. Looks like he does. So yeah, he's going for it. He is fully cooking right now, trying to get everything out of this race car with 15 to go next time by. Shaping up, man. This is everyone's, played their hand. Now it's a matter of just seeing this thing through to the end.
It's a race of strategy. Playing chess at 200 miles per hour. Side-by-side battle here for 7th spot. Michael Bennett going to look to the inside, get the pass completed on Ben Lapter. Lapter's going to fall back to 8th spot. Justin Ritchie, top 10 so far today. Few cars off the racetrack with Joe Joya, Floyd, Munoz, Hematat, and Reed. Jeremiah Nelson still on pit road. And
that's Orlando who just stopped.
We knew that was a short stop there.
And we had talked, he came down lap 51 or so. We talked he's probably going to run about 15, split it in half. Here we are, lap 66. Cut this thing in half, trying to run this thing out to the end. Michael Call down on pit road as well. This is a race I think that's just gotten away from the 5 a little bit here. But he's going to top off on fuel and just going to try to run this thing all out to the end.
Likens has the lead now from Rob Rader. How about that? Likens pulling away.
So Al Likens is in a similar situation to Jeremy Burns. The 9 just came down pit road. The 13 will likely have to do so as well. I would not be surprised, though, to see if Al Likens tries to run this thing out in the hopes of a yellow before he also comes down pit road. But it's been a great day for the 13 as he's going to be able to tack on some laps led to it.
That would be a shame, though. If this fuel strategy would dictate that he ends up back to where he started. You're going to have so many cars. If the caution does fall at the wrong time, the 13 could lose everything that he's gained. 21 spots up now. That'd be a lot of heartbreak, I think.
Yeah, it especially with how good this day has been for him. But we'll see how this thing's progressed, and I keep keeping an eye on that timing tower. Alex Forget is now only 7 seconds back of the lead, as you see Earhart coming down pit road. Grant Thorpe is about 11 seconds back of Forget. He's about the only car on the racetrack who I would suspect is able to run a bit harder than the 19, but that is a lot of distance to try to make up here. So it's looking more and more like the 19. If he's able to stretch that out once again, could have hit his number and could be in fantastic shape here to the end.
I don't want it any other way. I don't want to know who's going to win a race. I don't want to know.
It is one of those deals where this kind of race, a fuel strategy race that has had so many different strategies come up, is agonizing in the most fun way possible. Because you just kind of sit here and you're like, you know, you run all the numbers, but you just can never quite know, because it goes out now to the drivers to go out there and execute and actually hit that fuel number. As you see Parker Johnson now on pit road with about 11 laps to go, trying to hit his spot. There's a look there at the 39 of Grant Turner, who we know is good on fuel to the end here. Currently running in 12th. So he's going to be able to pick up a good bit of positions here, but I think he just lost too much time in the early part of this race to be a real threat for the win here, as he's stuck behind both the 19 and the 77.
But still, podium finish. Could work out for the 39.
Sure could.
I think a lot of these drivers are contemplating, did I make the right decision? Maybe didn't commit to this fuel save strategy like the 39 or the 19 or the 77 right out of the gate. As soon as we went back green, you had to start saving.
And several of them did. And that might be just what the doctor ordered here today to bring home a win in Pocono. Take a look here. There's Carter Linz in that 66 machine, currently running just outside that top 10, scored 11th. Jeremy Burns has made his stop. He is cutting into the deficit a little bit here, but he still has a long way to go. Scored in 10th, 23 seconds back of race leader Al Likens, who with 10 laps to go continues to lead. And yeah, once again, he pit on lap 57. Even if he were to go full save, there's no way I think the 13 could make it to the end. But, you know, crazy things have happened here in the Chapman Cup Series. Crazy things have happened here at Pocono. Who knows how this thing's going to play out.
Based off numbers right now, Alex, it looks like he's going to be about 3-4 laps short. Raider as well.
Yeah, Raider last pit on lap 59. He's at least 2 laps closer than Al Likens, but he's a lap short on Forget and 2 laps short on Thorpe. And I think saving 21 laps is a bit much, but, you know, maybe not. It could be wrong. I mean, you can see he is clutching this thing crazy through turns 1 and 2, trying to save as much fuel as he can. Did not drop out of 5th. He was hovering down just off the throttle through a lot of that corner. As he continues to bleed time to Likens, continues to bleed time to Forget, but is doing what he needs to do to potentially try to clutch his way into a win.
Was that a pun?
It certainly might be.
It feels like it was a pun. Alex Forget gaining on the 53. Al Likens most likely going to have to come back down pit road. So we're keeping our eye on the 19 with under 10 to go. Likens still has the lead. Open for a caution. Still on the throttle. Taking the long way around 1. Bad fast here for the 13 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He has been lights out. He's been a ton of fun to watch, and he continues to open up that gap. Another second over Raider now. Raider only about 3.5 seconds clear of Forget. That's where the real number starts to come in, because while we're 100% sure that Likens is not going to be able to make it on fuel, Raider, I mean, me personally, I'm only about 85% sure can't make it on fuel. So that is where that thing has to be watched. Grant Thorpe goes around Ben Laughter here as everyone else is trying to make it to the end here. 77, letting it open a little bit. He's cut another 1.5 seconds off that gap to Forget, maybe about 2. Still 10 seconds back, but is roaring his way to a potential podium here if he's got the fuel to go the distance.
That's the other difficult side, is how much do you want to burn to try to catch up to the 19. As a driver, you know what you had to make on your mark personally, but now you have someone in front of you. That changes things. Again, I'm going back to just this past weekend. It is so difficult to discipline yourself. Christopher Bell ended up losing a ton of positions because he got so focused on what was happening in the top 5. He could have came home with a plus 15 gain had he just saved and not worried about where Denny Hamlin was on the racetrack. So you got the 19 in front of you. Grant Thorpe trying to chase down on Alex Forget, but could end up harming himself. He could put himself 1 lap short of the race.
Yeah, and that's the big thing you've got to avoid in a moment like this. However, that gap continues to drop to the lead as Al Likens has come down pit road. So the 13 tops off on fuel. That caution he was hoping for did not come. However, he's going to have fresh tires here and a chance to really make some headway. And now Rob Raider, all eyes turn to him. Can he save enough? You see Forget there bearing down off of turn 2. He's in a slightly better fuel situation than the 53. That gap continues to close, but does he have the time to reel him in? And does the 53 have enough fuel? And there are still so many questions as we're coming to 5 to go here from Pocono.
Based off those numbers that we talked about earlier, Rob Raider would be about 3 laps shy. Doesn't mean he couldn't find it on the racetrack. It's a big place to save.
Yeah, and he has been very committed to saving from the onset here on this run. However, you got to be careful, because if you just focus on saving, you could end up losing that spot to the 19. But then if you overcook it trying to stay ahead of him, then you run into the exact situation that you just described with Christopher Bell from earlier this weekend. And yeah, another lap goes by. We saw that gap back to Forget last time around. Coming off of 2, it was 2.4. That time it was 1.8. As Rob Raider, I mean, he is just drifting through this corner at this point. There was no throttle input until he hit the straightaway.
I believe they call that sailing, Alex. He was letting the wind carry that car.
Yeah, and boy, is it right now. 4 laps to go, the gap 1.7. And this is the thing, it's not, you know, if Forget was fully good on fuel, he could just roar his way to the front here, no doubt, because Raider's so off the gas. But Forget's only a lap better than the 53. This is still a very precarious situation for the 19, trying to make sure he's got enough fuel to make it to the end, because he still needed to save some on this stint as well. So that's why he's not just blitzing his way up there. That gap continues to hover at about 1.8 here.
And I got another asterisk for you here, another random scenario. The 12 is ahead of Grant Thorpe by about 2 seconds. He's 2 laps better. Well, actually, I'll give it 1 lap better than Alex Forget. This is so close. I don't think he's actually better. He's 1 lap better than Raider, but he's matched the stint here with Alex Forget. Grant Thorpe, 1 lap better than that. It is so tight.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is I'm watching all this, and Jeremy Burns, who had to put in additional time, who's allowed himself to run flat out this whole time, he's worked his way back to 5th. He might be able to pick off a podium spot here in these last couple laps, because he is really reeling in Thorpe and Murphy here. It's not going to be enough, I think, to reel in a win here, unfortunately, for the 9 camp with how fast he's been. But man, there's still so many ways this thing could fall. You can't call it yet. The gap now 1.2, coming to 2 to go. Raider and Forget. It's like watching the end of a race of snails right now. This is fantastic stuff, though. It's not that they're not going fast. It's just if they had fuel, they could be going a heck of a lot faster. And wow, Raider really opened it up there going in the 1 for a moment.
Keep the battle for the lead on your screen on the bottom right. We're also paying attention to Justice Murphy, Jeremy Burns. You got Nick Alves into this mix. He's a little bit further back in the 24. Thorpe going to go by on the outside of the 12. This would be second place based off our numbers. We try our best. Math's not our strong suit here at Vspeed. If you're going to try to figure something out, though, I like where Grant Thorpe is. He can open this car up here for 2 to go.
Yeah, and that's coming to the white flag this time by Rob Raider. Has just seen the white flag presented by Earhart Holmes. Love where you live. And man, I still can't figure out how this is going to go. I mean, he's been clutching this thing. Did he save enough is the question.
I don't know the answer, but we're going to find out. We still have 2 corners to go. Into the tunnel turn for the 53. 0.8 of a second separate. Forget getting a big run through the corner. And it's the final turn. It could be right at the start-finish line.
Coming down to 6, now make it half a second. The gap continues to shrink, but man, did he save enough?
It looks like he did. Rob Raider is out of fuel across the line. Rob Raider is victorious at Pocono.
Wow.
How about that?
He went, what was that, 21 or so, 22 laps there. We thought the extent of that was 20. Man, he was bleeding speed that whole run, but had just enough to make it to the end. That was unbelievable. I legitimately can't believe he saved that much fuel. I was, like I was saying earlier, about 85% sure that he wasn't going to have enough.
Something happened here to Ben Laughter.
I think he may have just ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
Looks like it cost him one more spot down the straightaway. Luckily for him, he had enough to get across the line, but don't think he'd have enough to get back to pit road. Burns is pushing Forget around the racetrack right now. Likens is pushing Thorpe around the racetrack right now. Jeremy Burns was able to get back up to P4. But no closer. So he'll miss out on the podium here tonight. It'll be Raider, Forget, Grant Thorpe. Just as we all drew it up here at the start. How does this man have enough fuel for a burnout?
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all he's got. Can't get the fire back up there, but man. To save enough to even turn the tires over.
Yeah. Shocking to me, to say the least. Like I said, I fully thought he wasn't going to make it. And I was very much proven wrong, but man, that was crazy.
So now it's time to go to victory lane, the 53, trying to get it fired back up for one more little crack at the celebration. For the screenshot, doesn't look like it's going to do it. Just gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and let Rob Raider know it's out of fuel, buddy.
It's out of gas.
It's out of gas. You've ran out of gas. But I tell you what, you had just enough to do a little burnout there at the tail end of this thing. And how did you save enough to become victorious? What a showdown here on strategy.
Yeah, thanks. It's finally nice to steal one instead of have one stolen. I don't know. I saw that. I think it was Grant Turner and Grant Thorpe were both trying to stretch it out. I noticed with like 60 laps to go that if you started saving now, like you can probably make it, but you're going to give up a lot of time. So I really wasn't sure at what point it was going to be worth it. And then I got on the wrong side of tire strategy. I know all the Rolling Thunder and whatever the other team that's a different team but the same team call themselves. Those guys all took 2 at the stage and then took 4 there, and I took 2, and they were kind of running me down, and I just committed myself to saving gas for the next whatever it was 40 laps, I think. Because at that point I knew that if as long as I stuck to it, it would work. As long as we didn't get a caution, and I was just hoping that I was saving better and having better like lap times while saving than those guys who started before me. So yeah, I think this is the first time I've ever won a race when like serious fuel saving was part of it. I know back in Charlotte, won that race, and fuel saving was part of it, but it was just, it was like a lap there in that last run. It really wasn't that big of a deal. This was kind of staying committed to the strategy, and so yeah, there you have it.
Well, commitment is one thing, but then you have Alex Forget. I mean, he trimmed off over 7 seconds. He was on his way. He was on his way to get to the back bumper and got within half a second there into 3. You got to be wondering when you're looking at that relative, did I do the right thing? Am I still going to make it based off of, we got strategy, but then we also have to run these cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's the really hard part of this. You don't know how hard to push because you have to have enough fuel to make it to the finish line, but you have to be the first guy who has enough fuel to make it to the finish line, right? So you have to maximize all these things, and Alex is really good at finding the limit on anything like that, and he showed it tonight too. I know that he was pushing I know now, I should say, he was pushing just a little bit harder than me because he did run out of gas, and I was able to make it under my own power to the finish line. But, I mean, he did have me concerned for sure. I kind of just committed to saying, look, I'm going to let him get within a second of me. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And then when he gets within a second of me, then, I mean, we're just going to run it out of gas. If that's what it takes, we're not giving up on it, and we're not going to let him by. So glad he still got second place, even though he ran it out of gas. I know he got pretty much everything out of it, so pretty cool to see it. Alex and I both pull it off, but he absolutely had me sweating. And even though we are on the same team, I wasn't getting a whole lot out of him on what his fuel mileage was looking like. So it was it was definitely sweating bullets there those last probably
what a teammate.
6-7 laps.
What a teammate. I mean, you got this race under your belt, and I noticed you changed the paint scheme back, so I don't think that it was necessarily that Kyle Busch throwback that was putting you up front. 53 Rob Raider. Who do you have to thank?
Well, big shout out to Chapman Environmental Services. Got him on the car, got him sponsoring, obviously, the league, so that way you guys can put on your awesome broadcast. So big shout out to them. It's been, I think, since October since I had them on the car and won a race with the normal paint scheme. So that's pretty cool. Glad to do that. Obviously, big military weekend. I didn't have the opportunity to get a paint scheme put together for that, but I know a lot of guys did here for the Museum of American Armor race. And so I thought that was really cool. Had everybody lined up there. So big shout out to everybody in the military and everyone who puts on or puts up sacrifices for us to be able to do all the things that we do with our freedoms every day. Big shout out to those guys. Shout out to the firefighters. Shout out to the police officers, everybody. So there's a bunch of other sponsors of the league, but I'm just going to make it about them tonight, I think.
Rob Raider victorious here at Pocono in a fuel strategy race that came down to the last decimal point. Congratulations, and we will see you possibly, I think it's official now, at San Diego.
Yes, we will be running San Diego. I don't know if you guys have run some laps there, but I've run a few, and holy crap, it's like Chicago Street, but even crazier. So should be quite an interesting race. You'll definitely want to tune in and see that one. I have no idea what lap times everybody else is running, but I'm struggling just to put together something competent. So, yeah, that'll be crazy. But thank you guys at Vspeed again for everything that you do and showing up every week, putting on awesome broadcasts for us. Always appreciate it.
53 Rob Raider going to add another one to the books. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Vspeed, and when we come back, more post-race interviews, those final race results. You are watching the Museum of American Armor 200 at Pocono.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket.
Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.
Real quick, you both stop real quick, guys. Double check the steering wheel.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Calm out there. Nice and smooth. Let's get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome back here to Pocono Raceway, where Chapman Cup Series and the Racing Revolution Season 2026 has concluded. 80 laps in a fuel strategy race at the Tricky Triangle. Rob Rader found his way to victory. Tyler Harrison, who started on the pole, became victorious. It was 2 cautions, 11 lead changes to file this thing out. And the final results up on your screen. There's your top 3. We'll get a word with Alex Forget and Grant Thorpe in just a moment. We talked to Rob Rader. He was super thankful for iRacing's new telemetry. Shout out to them. He had a few other choice words, but we'll put it that way. Jimmy Burns, who was on the 3-stop strategy in that stint, will end up racing his way back to a top 5, just shy of that podium. Justice Murphy will finish in 5th. Kudos to the 12. Did a fantastic job. Nick Alves with a solid day in the 24th. Caleb Gilbert with a top 10. Al Likens still gets a big gain. Had the top off of fuel. Was also in that same strategy as Jeremy Burns. But gains around 20 positions. Had the numbers and then I lost him. So 18 spots gained there, I believe. It's actually Nick Alves who gained 18 positions. So Al Likens going to not be the biggest mover in this race. 9 spot's going to go to Grant Turner. Solid day for the strategist. And then you have Trevor Earhart for your top 10.
Looking back to 11th here, Justin Ritchie will bring it home in that 11th spot, just ahead of TK Trevor Keith, finishing 12th. Ben Laughter will finish 13th here today, just ahead of Carter Linz in the 14th spot. Michael Bennett will bring it home in 15th. Jacob Sirkovich will gain 11 spots to bring it home 16th. Michael Call will finish 17th, with Kevin Orlando Jr. finishing in that 18th spot, just ahead of Parker Johnston and the pole sitter, Tyler Harrison.
21st position to Brandon Richardson. Dylan Picklesheimer, rough day. Damage in that very first incident. Matt Robinson will also be in that same category with Jeremiah Nelson in 31, finished on pit road. Joe Joya, all of these cars from 22nd down were involved in that first incident. So 7 cars got caught up in that. Joe Joya, Dakota Floyd, Ryan Munoz, Brandon Pamitat, and Michael Reed rounding out your field 78 laps down. So the pit barrels claim some cars. Sunoco claims some fuel. A lot of burn here today, but Rob Rader victorious. And as we work our way down pit road, Alex, you've caught up with the other Alex. Second place finisher here tonight.
That we have, once we move on into the booth. There we go. Hey there, Alex. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, you were not on my radar initially as far as people who were going to be good to make it on fuel there with how that initial stint after the stage went. And then all of a sudden you stretched that thing out to lap 60, it sounds like, on that second to last one. And or on the last one, I mean, and then put yourself in a perfect position to try to track down Rob Rader for the win. Ultimately came up just a touch short, but man, what a great call on the strategy here tonight for you. Talk to us a little bit about your night and that last run trying to track down the 53.
I really had to be patient tonight by starting, I think, 14th. At the beginning, before the stage, I got involved in that first caution and I had to go to the pits to repair. I had a little bit of repairs to do, so it wasn't that bad. But after that, I saw that I couldn't pass anyone pretty much until the stage caution. So I tried to run hard the first stint after the stage. And when we all pitted, I saw that I had a lap further than everyone, so I stayed a lap. And then Rob said that we were very close on making it on one more stop, I think. So at that point, I looked on my fuel calculator and it says 20.4, which is one stop and almost a little bit more. So I was like, all right, I need to save fuel as much as I can. So I got behind people. I never tried to pass them. I was clutching every corner. As soon as I saw cones on my right, I was clutching it, saving as much fuel as I can. And when I pitted on for the last stint, it was saying at first I was good. Then during the stint, it told me that I was 0.4 not good. So I had to save again. It was pretty rock and roll at the end. But I'm really, really glad that I could manage to finish in top 3. Finish second is really nice after all these weeks of bad results.
Yeah, this is a fantastic run for you, and I know you came into today right around that line or so for the top 16. Got to imagine you're feeling pretty good about where you'll be sitting after this race and the points you'll get from it.
Yeah, especially with the 2 races that are coming up.
I can hear how excited you are for San Diego.
Oh yeah, you can feel the excitement and the enthusiasm.
Yeah, well,
really looking forward for these 2.
Well, we'll let you have all the prep time you need to get ready for San Diego. Alex, congrats on the podium run tonight. Fantastic stuff. Anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to thank my captain, Nicholas, and Bennett, my teammates. They are the best moral support I have. Also, special thanks to my friends on EXR, Parker, Caleb, Jacob, but mainly Rob for the win. Congrats. Also want to thank Chapman Environmental Services, All About Bugs, SQDC, you guys at Vspeed, and my beautiful girlfriend, which I need to go right now to pick up at work.
Well, yeah, definitely don't let us hold you up then. Best of luck with that. Congrats on the podium, Alex, and we will catch you next week in San Diego.
Thank you very much.
And that is your second place finisher here today, Alex Forget Berube, that number 19 machine. Played the strategy just right to bring it home second place.
He used the phrase rock and roll. That entire interview was rock and roll.
Yeah. That was.
Speaking of rock and roll, it's Grant Thorpe, third place finisher here tonight. And Grant, we were watching you. We didn't predict that Rob Rader and Alex Forget had enough fuel to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah,
and
me
and
neither.
You looked the best. You looked the best there. You had stretched it an extra lap compared to everybody else, and you'd put yourself in a great situation on pace overall. It looked like the 77 was going to find its way to victory lane tonight.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good about it. Um, uh, I lost track of who was ahead of me still. I was just kind of keeping an eye on Jeremy behind me, and it's like 4 seconds, 3.5, 3, 2, 1.5. There's about 5 to go. I'm like, all right, I gotta start digging now. And third place Pitt, which I thought was the leader at the time, and I look up and there's still 2 ahead of me. So that was a unfortunate thing to figure out with about 2 to go when I thought I won it, but it was fun. Good to be back up front again, even if it's off of strategy, not pace.
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk about it too much in this race, but we had a lot of special paint schemes out here on the racetrack tonight. Coming up on the 4th of July, we also have the Museum of American Armor sponsoring tonight's race. Who put that car? Who painted that here tonight? It's beautiful.
I actually did it. Surprising enough, used to do some paints back in the day. Obviously not the best. If you look closely, you could probably see some things here there that aren't too great. But came out of paint scheme retirement. Threw it together real quick. I just participate and help encourage some others to also try to get some stuff together to participate in the theme tonight.
It looked beautiful out there, and it looked really good. Based off the numbers, I thought we were going to be talking to you in victory lane, but the 77 here going to finish on the podium. Still a solid day at the Tricky Triangle. We're going on to San Diego, a track we haven't been to before. What's your take on that place?
I've got some learning to do. I ran like a few laps the other night, but that's about it. So got to figure it out and hope to get lucky next week so I can be talking to you guys again. But looking forward to it. New tracks are always fun. I'm just hoping we're able to put on a good show for you.
Level playing field for next week. Grant Thorpe, I know there's a lot of people that level and keep your mind in the right place, so go ahead and shout those folks out.
I've admin team. They do so much week in, week out to organize this. So all those guys, they do a great job. Make my life easy too, as an admin. But then of course you guys, you do such a great week, a great job every week. So appreciate you guys. Had a good relationship with Vspeed over the last couple of years. So been loving it so far, and just thank you guys.
Try our best up here, and we appreciate you coming to talk to us. We'll see you in 7 days' time when we go to the naval base, and hopefully everyone figures it out before we get there.
Yeah, hopefully this camo DG machine can pick up a few more spots between now and then.
There you go. Maybe paint it like a submarine so you can just sift on by under the water.
Well, apparently they saw me coming tonight, so I'll try something different.
Grant Thorpe, third place here at Pocono. There you have it for your top 3 post-race interviews, and I don't have B-roll for it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even own the track yet, so it's new to me as well.
That makes 2 of us. I also don't own San Diego yet. So
I don't have anything. I'm just gonna give you some stock B-roll from Pocono. That's what I got.
There we go. What I can say is we will be hitting the books here for Vspeed, and we will be studying up on San Diego. So when we join you next week, June 24th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we will know all the ins and outs of the San Diego Naval Base and be ready to present it to you right here. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun because it's not often these days do we get an opportunity to take the Chapman Cup Series to a track that no one's ever been to before.
Yeah, it levels the playing field. I think it's going to be an interesting race, and nobody really knows the strategy there. Is 2 tires going to work? I don't think so, but there's a lot of left-hand turns. There's a lot of 90-degree turns. And Rob Rader described it as Chicago's street course, but crazier. I agree with him. If you look at the layout of that place, it's very, very similar. And so I think what we're going to see is a lot of different names up front initially. Maybe people will figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what's in store for us, but if you would like to tune in June 24th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Alex Gagnon and Bradley Cooper most likely going to be in the booth. But Alex, you might have something going on there on Wednesday. We'll see how that all turns out. But we want to thank you for being a part of tonight's broadcast. If you did enjoy tonight's action, hit the subscribe button. It's the easiest way. Turn on the alerts, and you'll get a notification every time we go live. That's going to do it for us here at Pocono. Congratulations to Rob Rader in the Chapman Cup Series, finding his way to victory lane. It's Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon for Adam Baker and Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and Logan Threlkeld. Stay tracking, everybody.